And welcome to RawBoxingTv. To all of those of you that are here with me today, just playing you a little bit of knockouts while we get ready, while we get the ball ready. We're going to talk about this subject today. It's pretty interesting. It's not a fallacy. It's not a lie from a lot of the people that say that they don't like Canelo. And this is actually partially true. So we're gonna go ahead and touch up on those subjects, man, because it's a sad truth. It's a sad truth, and somebody's got to talk about it. Welcome to RawBoxingTv, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I'm gonna leave those little knockouts there playing for a little bit while you guys just enjoy, while we get ready, while we get warmed up to go through this journey, I guess you can say. Hey, man, I want to quickly send a shout out to all of those of you that have decided to support boxing. What do I mean by that? I mean that on June 5th or 6th, whenever Teofimo Lopez is fighting, that you're going to be watching that card because it's an actual boxing card. And you're not going to be watching the Mayweather-Paul fight because that's an actual exhibition. It's not a boxing match. Yeah, I know that the hype is great. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is my favorite boxer of the last decade. That's no secret to any of you that's been following me forever. But at the same time, I'm a fan of the sport before I'm a fan of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is past. He's gone. He's retired. He is fighting exhibition matches. For some awkward reason, they decided to put his fight the same day that Teofimo Lopez is going to be facing George Kambosos Jr. So I want to send a big shout out to all of those of you and much respect to all of those of you that, like I said, have decided to support boxing on that day, because that's what boxing needs. Boxing needs fans that are ready to start supporting it. Boxing needs fans that are ready to put things in perspective, put things in a scale, and weigh in and see what's more valuable. Is it watching a retired legend versus a guy that as a professional has 1 defeat, 0 victories? What sort of curiosity is this striking on you? Are you curious? Is Logan Paul going to knock out Floyd Mayweather? Are you curious? Is Floyd Mayweather going to be able to handle with the size? Are you curious? I'm not. Because at the end of the day, it's just an exhibition match. It serves no purpose for boxing. And I truly hope, ladies and gentlemen, I truly hope that this fight between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather does not count towards any of their professional records. I truly hope that. I could not. I would lose a lot of respect for Floyd if they actually start putting this records into his professional record. Because in my opinion, Floyd Mayweather should be right now 49-0, but whatever. We're going to get just spend a little more time here talking about certain things just to allow people to come in. Remember, as you come in, to hit the thumbs up so YouTube can start sending notifications out, and so we can get some people in here. You know, it's been a pretty heated couple of days, guys. There's a lot of controversy in this fight. Billy Joe Saunders versus Saul El Canelo Alvarez. That boy say, "You like the Mexican beef, boy? You like the Mexican beef?" And Canelo Alvarez is like, sí, me gusta así con salsita y un poquito de pico de gallo y bien hechita el carbón. Beef, boy. And boys was going at it, man. And boys was going at it. Today was a more of a sort of press conference, if you will. You know, it's you got to be very careful not to fall into Billy Joe Saunders games, because if there's one thing this guy does good is he knows how to get you worked up. And once he gets you worked up, he got you. Because now you're going to go into that ring and wanting to take his head off. And guess what a slickster wants? A slickster is always going to want you to take his head off. Because when you go for the head, he makes you miss and pay. When you go for the head, he makes you miss and pay. And then Billy Joe Saunders has said something in the last few days is, you know, hey, we got to give him some credit. Although controversial, partially true. You know, partially true. He said a lot of people in Mexico don't like Canelo. They support me more than they support Canelo. Now, that's partially true. That's no BS. That is unfortunately partially truth. So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're gonna go and discuss this subject. We'll talk a little bit about the fight, you know. We'll talk a little bit what I think is gonna happen in the fight. We'll talk a little bit about the things that people still saying about, well, Canelo's had issues with movers in the past, and you know, Billy Joe Saunders is a mover, and I think Billy Joe Saunders is gonna outbox Canelo. And hey, all of those things are fair. All of those things are fair. Want to send a quick shout out to the live stream here. The first one in, the Scale Bender. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? What's going on? Thank you for being here. Let's see what he says. Shout out to the guys that create the best of boxing reels, for sure, for sure. Scale Bender again says, what's with boxing? The way it's devours itself. Which this, I know it, man. All of this moves, scheduling, you know, this kind of exhibitions on the day that a excellent fighter is fighting for his pay-per-view. I don't like it. Hey, Rod in the building. What's going on, my brother? Thank you for being here. Scale Bender again, he says he likes his beef and he likes his juice. As of now, man, the tainted levels of I forgot what that drug is called. It's not even enough to make a man strong. It's not. It's just not. I'm sorry. It isn't. It's like picograms. It's not even enough. Jesus M. Hierro, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. Tyco TV in the building. William Boxing. Canelo will knock out Saunders. Hey, man. That's what I think as well. But boxing is it's a box full of surprises, man. It is. J.O. Pilot in the building. BJ Sanders has a chance, but he's not going to win if he doesn't bring it to Canelo. Texas judges like action. Facts. We're going to go to all of those points. Those are all valuable points. Those are all excellent points. And just make sure to keep me reminded of it. Giovanni in the building. Que hola, hierro. Oye, estás perdido. Estás más perdido que la libertad en Cuba, brother. Yeah. Yo, whatever topic you want me to cover, if you see me yippee yapping and not talking about it, make sure to remind me. If I drop the link, feel free to come on in and chop it up with me. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts on this fight. So let's get cooking, man. Billy Joe Saunders versus Canelo Alvarez. Very interesting fight. A lot of people think Billy Joe Saunders doesn't even deserve a shot at Canelo Alvarez. They have forgotten that the reason behind this fight is unifications. Billy Joe Saunders has one of the belts that Canelo wants, or the belts that Canelo wants in order to become unified, right? So Canelo wanted to fight champion, which was Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant came out with one of his famous excuses, you know. This ain't long enough for me to ain't long enough fight, train for this fight. Chances is gone now. That train may not even come back. If Canelo beats tonight, this Saturday night, if Canelo beats Billy Joe Saunders, which I'm thinking that he will beat Billy Joe Saunders. If he beats Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo may very well say, you know what? I want Caleb Plant because he's got another belt. And I don't want to hear Caleb Plant talking about like, well, you know, remember I injured my hand against Truax. And so it's been a few months and my hand's still not good. I don't want to hear none of that. This is the second chance. If Caleb Plant turns down a second shot at Canelo Alvarez, I think that train should just keep on going and never look back. And while you're at it, let's get some David Benavidez. That's just what I think. But a lot of people think that Billy Joe Saunders doesn't even deserve a shot at Canelo. And I understand, you know, when it comes to Billy Joe Saunders, there's a lot of emotions built up behind it. Because Billy Joe Saunders is one of those guys that gets you worked up. Billy Joe Saunders is one of those guys that has done some things on social media that is just disgusting for a professional, a public figure. You know, when you go to Twitter and you start teaching people how to beat up your wife, that is disgusting at a moral level, at a social level. That is disgusting. Rap Star Boxing in the building, my brother from London, England, from the UK. Everybody subscribe to UK 47. Everybody subscribe to UK 47. Everybody. London, England. Tonight, you must support the gypsy. You must support the gypsy. Hey, I'm working on my British accent, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to get you there one of these days. The white shoot with the T. Let me see what my boy Giovanni says here, man. With my kids, todo días. So I'll play with them all day, then work. Hey, man, I got you, man. I got you. I'm a father. I work. I got kids. I understand the struggle. I understand, man. I got you. I got you. Star power and entertainment. Caleb Plant is an easiest fight at 168. Just my opinion. It could be, but you know what? He's got a belt. And if I'm Canelo and I'm after the belt, if I want to have all the jewels, he's got to be in the list. Guess who's another one that's on the list? A guy that only has 3 or 4 professional boxing matches. David Morrell Jr. Guys, you got to understand this is the aspect of boxing and holding belts that's going to come and collide head to head with the way we view boxing. I personally don't think a guy with 3 fights should be a champion fighting somebody like Canelo. But if Canelo wants all the belts and he cleans out Caleb Plant, the other belt that's left there is the one that David Morrell Jr. has. That's just it. That's just it. And you know what, man? In honor to this fight, in honor to my Mexican brothers and sisters looking from Mexico, from the United States, from wherever you are in the world, let me play you a little mariachi song, man. Hey, man. I'm kind of excited for this weekend, to be honest with you, man. And no, you don't have to like Canelo Alvarez. No, you don't have to like Billy Joe Saunders. But you must be obligated to at least like boxing, man. You must be obligated to at least like boxing for the entertainment purpose of it. The fact that you get to sit down and watch 2 guys go at it, doing something you're not willing to do, doing something you may not even have the guts to do, that within in itself should be enough for you to like boxing. Boxing, it's beautiful. It goes through its ups and downs. But nevertheless, it's beautiful. A lot of people, when they think of Billy Joe Saunders, they get disgusted. I know a few of them. I know a few of them for a fact. I personally don't really like Billy Joe Saunders because of the things he's done and said on social media. I think that's just horrible. If he's doing it for the show, then that's all I got to judge him. If he's different in the real life, then I'm sorry. That's not what, he hasn't put out that difference in real life. So us, the fans, the only thing we got to judge, the only basis, the only evidence is what he puts out. Same thing with Canelo. Canelo may come across as an arrogant prick. And he might be, but he may not be. Whatever the case might be, all I know is that Billy Joe Saunders touched on something that is unfortunately true. A lot of Mexicans do not like Canelo Alvarez, and they will be supporting me on that day. That is true. That is absolutely true. And Canelo ain't the only one that's dealt with it. Canelo is absolutely not the only one that's dealt with it. Canelo has dealt with it. Oscar de la Hoya has dealt with it. Believe it or not, the pride of Mexican boxing, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., has dealt with it. Who knows why these things happen, but we got some ideas. And there might be some controversy today. A lot of my Mexican brothers might think I'm anti-Mexican, but I got to speak raw. Get ready, because I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Lime juice and razor blades. Get ready, because I'm coming. Let's get this, man. Let me get caught up with the chat here, and we'll get this ball rolling. Let's see. Chris Reina. Oh, you didn't hear the music? Interesting. Well, I played the music. Sorry. I heard it here, my end. Can you guys hear me, though? I hope you guys can. I hope you guys can hear me. From the look of the ticket scale, Canelo should have been taking this guy. Yeah. Well, same here. Let's go Saunders. Let's go Saunders, says Giovanni. And he's within the right to do so. If the man wants to support Canelo, Saunders, he's within his right. That's the beauty about freedom. You can choose whatever you want. Up the Blues is the best lightweight. If that's your opinion, my man, hey, why not? Why not? Hyplo in the building. What's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a minute. Hope you've moved. Hope you got yourself a nice place. Hope you're not missing your old place too much, man. Hope everything is good. I have exclusive news in a few days. Keep a lookout for sure, my brother. For sure. We're gonna keep that in our minds, man. Tyco TV, we always watching, bro, for sure. Appreciate you, man. Canelo Alvarez is one of the guys that has gone through this taboo called not being supported by your own folks. Giovanni says, Canelo is better, but I just been more of a Saunders fan and I got money in it. Oh, man, that's a bad move. Most likely I'll lose, but it's worth a risk. Hey, you just said it. It's a risk. If you ain't taking no risk, you ain't getting no reward. That's just it. And don't get me wrong, Billy Joe Saunders has some skills, man. I just don't think it's going to be enough to beat Canelo. I just don't. Move, but still living out of boxes. I get the feeling, brother. Trust me. I get the feeling. Canelo is not liked by all of his people. Canelo is literally the representative, not only of boxing nowadays, but Canelo is literally the representative of Mexican boxing. And he's people's Most of them don't like him. Most of them don't like him. I have a few theories in mind, and I'm going to have to say it, even though it's going to offend some people, and even though it's going to get some people mad at me. But get ready, like I said, because I'm coming with razor blades and lime juice. David Erasmo, saludo, mi amigo de Panamá. Shout out to you, my brother. Thank you for being here. Here are the things. I'm going to give it to you in a row, and then we can break it down and then so forth. In no particular order, these are the reasons that I think, these are my theoretical reasons that I think some Mexicans don't like Canelo Alvarez in Mexico. Not so much in the United States, but in Mexico. G Funky in the building. G Funky, the man that claims that Canelo Alvarez cannot cut the ring off. G Funky, I'm gonna drop the link later on, and if you want to jump in, let's get at it. G Funky in the building. Everybody go check my brother out. G Funky Boxing, one of the best channels in YouTube, man. Another member of his Panics Causing Panic. Me and G Funky were considered the biggest Canelo haters back in the day, 6-7 years ago, and we proudly wore that badge. We proudly wore that badge, man. Guido, Guido. Here are the reasons. 1, he's white-skinned. Oh, Ranger, you're so controversial. 2, he doesn't smile. He doesn't seem to be friendly. 3, he's young. Some people might consider him good-looking. Some may not consider him good-looking. 4, he got money. 5, he's not that friendly with Mexican sports media. When he goes to Mexican sport media, like the Flight and Show, whatever them people's is called, he goes at it with them. He goes raw. Not pun intended. He tells them like it is. Puerto Rican Rome in the building. What's up, my brother? He tells them like it is. And you know, we Latinos, we're too passionate, man. We carry that heat in our blood. You know what I mean? We create this image of what a humble person is to look like and act like, and then we push it forward and we put it as a scale to judge every Latino based on those scales. And if they don't act like that, then it must be because they ain't humble. And I know Mexico ain't no different than Cuba when it comes to that. We see a young buck, good looking, taking the women, having all this money, and we don't like it. We just don't like it. We see the young buck that has a different style of boxing to the one that we are accustomed to see, and we don't like it. So we hate him. Another thing is Mexicans believe, Latinos in general, but I'm referring to Mexicans today. Mexicans believe too cold-heartedly in whatever American news medias say. Whatever American YouTubers say, or Latin American YouTubers say, or Hispanic YouTubers in Americas say. So if a Hispanic YouTuber says Canelo ain't fighting tough opposition, we believe him because es que son de los Estados Unidos. Y ellos están allá y ellos tienen que saber. No, it's not like that. The beauty of boxing is the beauty of boxing in general. Mexico has produced stylists. Mexico has produced tree choppers. Mexico has produced brawlers. Mexicans have produced boxer punches. Mexicans have produced feather-fisted technical boxers. I don't know where y'all get this idea that the Mexican style of boxing. What Mexican style of boxing? Mexico has produced all kinds of style of boxers. All kinds. And I'm going to drop the link. You got something against what I'm saying? All you do is jump in here. I'm going to drop the link in a little bit. Something's going on with my internet. I got the Taco Bell internet tonight. Sorry. All kinds. Every time I hear people say, you remember, they advertise GGG like that. It's the drama show, the Mexican style boxing. What Mexican style boxing, my guy? What Mexican style of boxing, my guy? What Mexican style of boxing? Man, I hope this doesn't mess up today. I truly hope this doesn't mess up today. When you look at the story of Mexican boxing, and you look at Salvador Sanchez, for example, one of the greatest to ever do it for Mexico. The guy, yeah, he had power, but the guy was a very educated technical boxer. You can't direct my ship in no other direction. You can't. I'm too into boxing for you to try to deceive me talking about the Mexican style of boxing, because I've seen deliciousness like Ricardo El Finito Lopez. To me, the actual best Mexican boxer of all time, on top of Canelo Alvarez. If you ain't never seen Ricardo El Finito Lopez, I would enjoy for you to go and educate yourself on what a technician does when he knows how to implement power, when he knows how to box, when he knows how to brawl, when he knows how to use his head, use his upper body movement, and when he knows how to do an undefeated amateur record and an undefeated professional record. No. Finito Lopez did not fight 78 cab drivers. That boy fought everybody who was everybody. But Ranger Canelo doesn't fight the Mexican style of fighting. ¿Qué Mexican style of fighting tú me estás hablando a mí? What are you talking about? It's Chavez. Chavez is not Mexican style of fighting. Chavez is one of the many styles that Mexico has to offer. One of the many. You ain't gonna be deceiving me, bro. I invite you to look at Juan Manuel Marquez, a guy that was pretty decent technician, pretty decent brawler. I invite you to go look at Eric El Terrible Morales, a guy that knew how to box but chose not to because he fell in the trap of, we got to fight like Mexicans and kill each other. In my opinion, Eric El Terrible Morales lost fights he should have never lost because he had too much skills to lose them. But the social pressures got to him. I got to fight like a Mexican. That means you are a Mexican regardless of how you fight. You're a Mexican regardless of how you fight. You know what? The light bothers me. Let me put this hat back on. The hell I'm talking about. I better calm down. For real, I better calm down. I ain't trying to catch no high blood situation here. Marco Antonio Barreras. Marco Antonio Barreras, the man that fought that mid-distance like a magician. The man that knew how to make you miss by inches and make you pay immediately. He didn't fight like Chavez. Therefore, in your criteria, he is not a Mexican-style boxer. Mexican style of boxing. To me, that's one of the reasons Canelo is not liked. And then there's a bit of hypocrisy from those fans in Mexico that don't like Canelo and say he doesn't fight tough oppositions, therefore he's not a true Mexican. He has no huevos, therefore we don't support him because you guys supported the 79 cab drivers that Chavez Sr. took out of the ring. You gonna tell me you didn't? Because I can tell you he did. Y'all did. This false stigma, this false image that has been created in Latin America that the true macho man is the one that comes forward is false. War is the art of hitting your opponent without getting hit, man. That's why we got snipers. So you can see your opponent from a mile away, 1,000 yards, and blast them. And blast them without him getting to you. That's why we got the Navy in the middle of the ocean so they can touch a button and send them smart bombs, smart missiles to the land and hit your opponent without your opponent hitting you. Boxing is no different. It's the sweet science of hitting and not getting hit. Until you get that in your head through your thick skull, you're going to continue to live under the typical lie that this fighter doesn't fight like the Mexican fighters. Until you put Canelo Alvarez in the same pedestal and judge him with the same rod that you judge Chavez Sr., you're never going to appreciate the type of fighter that you have. Because you tell me Canelo ain't fought no tough opposition, but like I said, there was 79 or 89 or 99 cab drivers that Chavez Sr. took out, and y'all supported him for that. Chavez Sr. was, I believe, 59-0, and he fought a guy that was 2-8 or 8-2. Tell me, how the hell does that make sense? Tell me. But y'all call him the representative of boxing from Mexico. You got a guy here that's giving you 3 potential fights, that has fought 3 times in less than 6 months, and y'all ain't even supporting him. I got issues with that. I got issues with that. Shoeshine Boxing in the building. Everybody go check him out. My brother, Shoeshine Boxing. Make sure to go check him out. We got to put things in perspective here. We got to judge these things evenly. Keep the same energy. Because I just don't understand when people tell me, hey, you know what, man? Canelo ain't fighting no tough opposition. I'm Mexican. He ain't a representative of Mexican boxing. Chavez is. But Chavez fought 89 nobodies. And y'all loved him. Other reason they don't like Canelo. The guy does not have a friendly personality, quote unquote. He's very serious constantly. Very serious. He doesn't joke around in front of the cameras. However, I keep in touch with Frank Sanchez, and I get the total opposite. They say when this guy is with you, he's playful, he's constantly dancing, he's cracking jokes. He might walk past you and just like flick your nose or just tag you and see if you can different. I don't understand. Sometimes we judge without having actual knowledge. Orlando Chavez, que vuelta hierro. What's going on, my man? Thank you for being here. As a Hispanic man, I don't understand the Canelo hate from our own people. A classic guy who conducts himself well is hated. I just don't get how we hate someone like us. Conducts himself, a guy that is gonna fight this Saturday, a guy in Billy Joe Saunders who goes to his Twitter to teach you guys how to beat up your own wife. That's the guy y'all supporting. A guy that decides not to show up to a press conference, and we're going to go through the controversies after I decompress a little bit. A guy that decides not to show up to the press conference, that's the one the Canelo haters is going to be supporting this Saturday. A guy that When the reporter asked him, what was you doing? He said, I was playing with me balls. That's the guy y'all want to support. And when I say you, I don't mean just anybody. I'm talking about those of you that are morally judging a Canelo y'all don't know. Y'all gonna be supporting a total immoral Billy Joe Saunders. That's just nonsense to me. I don't understand it. I'm giving you all the reasons, my theoretical reasons as to why some Mexicans in Mexico don't like Canelo Alvarez. Andres Rodriguez, my mano, my brother, how you doing, man? The mother says, but oh well. She already scored fights with me and is excited by the visit tomorrow. There you go. My older daughter turned 6 tomorrow. Already today in their car, 15 minutes after midnight. And she will be in our local boxing gym for the first time to watch kids sparring. Hey, man, she gonna have fun. I hope y'all have fun. I hope y'all have fun. Watching the sparring section always gets heated. Exciting. Playful. People get mad. We all been there. We've all been there. Another reason Canelo is not playful. When he goes to these TV shows, the minute he smells BS, he cuts it in half and he attacks it. And he ain't afraid to look at Mr. Ex-Fatto Flightson in his face and says, you talk too damn much and you don't even know nothing about boxing. He's not afraid to look at the camera and tell people in Mexico, Chavez Sr. is jealous of me. He's not humble. He's not humble. He's not, huh? I guess humble, the definition of humble is to allow everybody to step all over you, spit in your face, talk about you, and regardless of how anybody else feels, without giving any concern that you have family that's going to be watching this news stuff, all of this false accusations about you, right? Interesting how there's a measuring stick for this and a different one for Canelo Alvarez. Pretty different. Another reason, another theoretical reason why I think Canelo Alvarez is not liked in Mexico's. Because he is the son that Chavez Sr. wish he could have had. Oops, I said it. Deal with it. Cry about it. Cry about it. To me, that's just a fact. Another theoretical reasons why I think Mexicans, rewind, some Mexicans don't like Canelo Alvarez. Why is it that we complain about racism when in our own countries, and this happens in Mexico, this happens in my island of Cuba, this happens in every Latin American country there is, he's too light-skinned. Or the light-skinned people, he's too dark. Es un indito. As if the indito doesn't have the same value as a human than a light skin does, and vice versa. We judge others with a measuring stick that we don't like seeing it come right back to us. Don't try to tell me that that doesn't happen in our countries. It happens at a world level. People, racism comes from all the colors towards all the colors, from every ethnicity towards all ethnicities. Don't try to play a fool here. I done been through a lot of places, a lot of things in my life. I done dealt with a lot of people. I done dealt with a lot of people. I'm going to drop the link here in a minute. Make sure to hit the one with the YouTube sign, not the one with the Twitch. Like to remind you guys to follow me on Instagram at RawBoxingTV, Twitter at RawBoxingTV. If you're on Twitch, subscribe and follow at RawBoxingTV. If you want to support the channel, Cash App, $RawBoxingTV. Things got to start changing, people. The way we judge each other has to start changing, my people. The way we judge each other has to start changing. If we're going to say Canelo is not representative of Mexican boxing because he doesn't fight tough oppositions, then you cannot tell me, or I do not want to hear out of your mouth, Chavez Sr. is a chingón. Nope. Nope. Because I'm going to hit you with a tough reality. I'm going to hit you with a tough reality. Don't be afraid to call in today. Those of you that think that I'm wrong, I'm always open to learn. I'm always open to get criticized. I'm always open to hear people because I might be wrong. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is 100% correct and I'm the only one that's got it right around here. If you got something different to add, bring it on in. Chavez top 3 Mexican fighters on my list. Why not? Of course. I'm not saying that he's not a top level fighter. I think he's a legendary Mexican fighter. I'm simply saying those people that say Canelo doesn't fight tough oppositions are the same people that supported the Chavez that had over 70 fights and still fighting people with less than 10 professional matches. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing else other than that. That's all I'm saying. Look at this comment. Perfect. There it is. That's a representative of this man. Doesn't matter whether you like him or not. But you cannot say that he ain't good. That he ain't great. That he ain't the representative of boxing right now. Name me another cash cow. I dare you. Name me another cash cow. Manny Pacquiao? I don't think Pacquiao will bring the money that Canelo brings. I don't think so. I don't think so. Billy Joe Saunders, you know, Billy Joe Saunders. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying Billy Joe Saunders doesn't have skills. Y'all already know me, the way I feel towards, you know, slick boxes. Slick boxing. All the way. All the way. There's been a lot of controversy with this fight. And why do I say a lot? Because it's come too frequent back to back within 48 hours. Within 48 hours. The man doesn't show up to the first face-off. He says he was playing with his bulls. They agreed to have a 20 by 20 ring. This was agreed upon. Billy Joe Saunders arrives and says, I want a 22 by 22 ring. If you don't, I'm leaving. Book my plane ticket. I'm leaving. Eddie Hearn says, I felt pressure to go and talk to Canelo. I asked Canelo, this guy's asking for 22 by 22. Are you okay with that? Canelo said, yeah, that's no problem. Eddie Hearn goes back to Billy Joe Saunders and says, he says it's no problem. Then Billy Joe Saunders says, no, I want that ring to be 24 by 24 or book my plane ticket. I'm leaving. Eddie Hearn then felt compelled and a bit pressure because he's like, look, I'm representing Billy Joe Saunders, but I'm also representing Canelo Alvarez, and I didn't want Canelo Alvarez to feel like I was just protecting Billy Joe Saunders. But I still went and asked Alvarez if he wanted this. No problem. The ring was never an issue for Canelo Alvarez, according to Eddie Hearn. D-Style Boxing in the building. Go check him out. The ring was never an issue for Canelo Alvarez, to the promoter. Rap star boxing knowledge from London, England. What is going on, my brethren?
Hey, I had to come and show you support, bro. Big fight this weekend. I've just had a nap. You know what I mean? I've just had a little
I can.
power nap. But listen to this, bro. It's a huge fight. The fight's getting bigger as the day's getting closer. You know, I don't
Yes,
want to
sir.
hear nothing from the boxing world. This is a big fucking fight. And Canelo Alvarez is giving us these fights back to back. You know what I'm saying? He just fought his
Correct.
mandatory a few months ago, couple of months ago, and he's straight in with Billy Joe Saunders. I gotta tell you this, bro. We're excited, but I was just gonna touch on this Mexican legends. I know Canelo Alvarez is the best of what we got today, but let's be honest. He hasn't even done what Oscar De La Hoya's done, raw boxing.
No,
Oscar
that's a
De La
fact.
Hoya is a 5 weight, or is he not a 6 weight world champion?
No, that is correct. But you're
Yeah, so
forgetting one
Oscar De
important
La Hoya, if you really want to know the truth, Oscar De La Hoya, as a Mexican fighter, should be ahead of Canelo Alvarez if you really want to talk the truth at the
in
moment.
history, yeah. In history, yes. In
Yeah.
history, yes.
And
Yes.
let's not forget, you had Salvador Sanchez, one of the best ever, coming out as a young boy, taking the most hardest challenges with the people. And you know, you look at his resume, what he did until he was 22 years old. This guy was
Correct.
another level. And you see
Yep.
Chavez Sr. Chavez Sr. will always be loved by Mexico as the #1 guy. Canelo will not be able to take Chavez Sr.'s spot, bro, because he's loved by the Mexicans in a different way. But I do believe Canelo will make the top 3 or top 5 of all-time Mexican fighters.
Oh, of course. And everything you just said is straight up facts. And that's not even what we've disputed here. You know, one of the things I was disputing is the standard in which these fighters are judged. I'll give you an example. Uh, in Mexico, a lot of people say that he doesn't represent us because he doesn't fight tough oppositions. But Chavez was almost 80-0, and he was fighting fighters with less than 10 professional boxing matches and losing records, and they were loving him. So the same standard they were using to love Chavez are not being implemented to support Canelo Alvarez today. They're not. Because
And you got to remember this though, raw boxing. Some of those wins that Chavez has got, I don't give a fuck what people say. Oh, they were close. But you look at some of those wins with Medrick Taylor, Pernell Whitaker. I mean, at the end of the day, you can say that some of his record was made up, but when he stepped up, bro, he won those fights on paper. I don't
that is
care
correct.
what people say. He won those fights on paper. He beat those legendary fighters. He ended Medrick Taylor's career. Medrick Taylor was one of the best boxers coming out of America. And people talk about, oh, Chavez never used to fight people. Chavez fought all kinds of people. He fought black people, Mexicans, anybody. You give it to him, he was ready for the war. So I know that you say that Chavez was made up with a lot of his fighters, but when
no, oh, of course. No. If you go back and everything I've said, I have not downplayed any of these fighters. I'm simply trying to level it the way in which they are loved, right? And look, for example, D-Style here says Chavez didn't have love like that until he fought Meldrick Taylor. And that is true.
Okay.
But guess what?
Yes.
Once he fought Meldrick Taylor, all of those past hate was forgotten and he was accepted. We have Canelo, who has fought, dare I say, look, he doesn't fight tougher positions. Yet at a very young age, he fought the best of the best in Floyd Mayweather.
He
right?
lost.
And he lost, but he fought him, right?
Yeah,
he fought him, right? He fought the #1 154 pounder, Oscar Trout. He beat him.
But what happened when Salvador Sanchez? What happened when Salvador Sanchez stepped up when he was that age? He won.
No, of course. Of course, that's not what we're disputing here. But I'm saying what I'm simply saying is when you have a guy that's been doing what Canelo's been doing in this era, because guess what, Rapstar, which era had more talent? The back in the days or now?
Are you there?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I lost you there. Go ahead.
When back in the days when Salvador was active, who had more that area or this era, who had more talent just laying around?
Oh, but it's very difficult because raw boxing, you know, those guys were fighting 6 to 8 times a year.
Yeah, but look at Canelo though. In this era, in the era of I fight once a year and I'm TBE, the man is giving us 3 fights in less than 6 months.
No, Canelo is definitely.
Hypo fell through.
Representing, he definitely is separating himself. I mean, you want to talk about fighters who've achieved greatness? Oscar De La Hoya went through 6 weight classes, didn't he?
Oh yeah. That was one of my favorite fighters in the 90s and early 2000s.
You know, you can say what you want. Yeah, but so for Canelo Alvarez to top Oscar De La Hoya.
But you know, you were reinforcing my argument by using Oscar De La Hoya, because that's another guy that was hated in Mexico, even with all of the accomplishments that he had. Even with all the accomplishments that he had, he was hated in Mexico. Not by everybody, of course. I'm only talking about those that actually had that type of hate towards these guys. But Oscar De La Hoya was look at the press conferences before he fought Fernando Vargas. What was one of the arguments for Fernando Vargas? Oh, he's not a true man.
A real Mexican.
He doesn't have balls. This, and that. And he got his butt whooped, even with all the roids he had in his system that night. Right? So when we use Oscar De La Hoya, we're using a guy that's actually went through the same thing that Canelo is going through right now. Not full acceptance of his people. And I'm gonna tell you this, rap star, as a Latino, I think that even if I would have been born in America, I would still love people to say I'm Cuban because I come from a Cuban descendant. So when you hear somebody like Oscar De La Hoya fighting for obviously American amateurs, but also fighting for his people, and partial parts of his people saying you are not Mexican because you was born over there, that must hurt, my man. And in the same way, some Mexicans come from Mexico over here, and the Mexicans that are born here might tell them, you belong to Mexico. I belong here. I've heard it all. I'm simply attacking the mismanagement of judgment when it comes to this issue. That unfortunately, that
I mean, we got also, remember, one of your guys, I mean, he must be loved, right? June Manuel Marquez. I mean, he was the guy who ended he's the one who beat Manny Pacquiao. June Manuel Marquez, he must be a legend for you guys in Mexico, for the Mexicans, right?
Well, I'm Cuban, but yeah, he is. He is a legend over there. But even Juan Manuel Marquez hated on Canelo Alvarez, to the point that that Canelo Alvarez once told him, I wish you were my weight division so I can whip your butt. Live on TV, he told him, I wish you were my weight division so I can whip your butt. You know? Hi, Plo, what's going on, my brother?
So before I just, I got to go in a minute, Ro, why do you think the Mexicans, right, they got such, they are behind the sport. Mexicans remind me of British fans. They're so passionate about boxing. So why would they all not stand behind their fighter? Why is there a divide and a love and a hate situation with their own fighters then?
I think it's such an stigma. It's same thing like I was saying at the beginning of the live stream. It has a lot to do with this false sense of morality that us Latinos in general have created. And I think they look at Canelo as not humble. I think it has something to do with his skin complexion. It's a lot of stuff, man. I'm telling you, it's a lot of stuff. And you hear it around the communities. You know what I mean? I think it's envy from some people in Mexico. I think it's the way the media in Mexico has portrayed Canelo Alvarez. For example, that show with Flight Zone or whatever that show is called, A Los Golpes, whatever it's called, how they talk and trash Canelo Alvarez constantly. I think people believe that stuff, and they don't look at the actual detail. Now let's be real. Can Canelo have had better fights? Of course. Look, I think that the Rocky Fielding was a joke, cherry pick. I think that Amir Khan was a cherry pick, a joke of a fight. I thought that the Carlos Valdemir fight was a joke, even though Canelo wasn't a very experienced fighter when this happened. I you know, I don't know. I'm simply asking people, look, forget all this. Forget all this. Oh, he doesn't smile. Oh, forget all this. He looks cocky. Forget all of that. It's not your job to judge a boxer because of his moral standards. It's your job to judge a boxer by his boxing skills as a boxing fan. And then when you do that, you can't deny the man's skills. Hyplo, rap star, let's give Hyplo a little chance here. What's up, man? How you doing?
Bro.
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Just, taking and giving a little heat. You know how it is.
Chopping it up on Canelo, huh?
We got to, man. We got to.
So, yeah, man. I don't see. I mean, is it your impression that the Mexican fans are not supporting him? Because from where I am,
No.
in LA, they do. I mean,
you just mentioned something. I said at the beginning, Mexico fans in Mexico. I have not seen the same treatment from Mexican Americans. I think Canelo gets more support in America from Latinos and Mexican Americans.
That's weird
possibly
because he's really from Mexico. He's not. I mean, there's a long time ongoing war here in California between like Mexicans from Mexico and Mexicans who are born here for some reason. I'm not a part of that. I'm only half Puerto Rican.
And I'm not even trying to get into that because that's part of outside of my culture. In an essence,
me too. But I do know that is the case. Like in jail, there's they separate from each other.
I've had Mexican boxers. I had a female Mexican boxer in my show. Actually, 2 female Mexican boxers in my show, and I've asked the same question when it comes to Canelo, and I get the same similar answers.
Yeah, I'm not sure in Mexico, but I feel like he is supported. There are like these rivalries. Like in Puerto Rico, we have one between Bayamon and Carolina, and in Mexico, it's even bigger. So they have like regions. Like so, if you're from Jalisco or wherever Canelo's from,
Guadalajara,
you may not get along with someone from Nayarit or another particular zone. So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah. Look at this comment. Look at this comment, Hyplo. Look at that comment right there.
What's that?
This is coming from a Mexican guy. You see that Canelo was not the crowd favorite at the Angulo Perro fight. I was there. And that is true. You know why?
Right.
And we're talking about 2 Mexican-born fighters because Angulo resembles the comments. He fights coming forward and this and that. And I'm simply saying,
the Canelo fights coming forward too sometimes,
Yeah. HSP, I don't think I've ever had you in the show. What's going on? Who are you? Talk to me.
Yo, what's going on?
Oh, MMA champ. What's up, man?
MMA champ. What's up, MMA?
Hey, listen, let me just say this before you guys carry on. Smash that motherfucking like button. I'm out of here, Raw Boxing. We always supporting you. England, stand up. Mexico, stand up. Big fight.
There you go.
I'm out.
All right.
Let's go.
Be good.
Have a good one.
What's up, MMA?
Well, I think, the reason Canelo has, some hate in the Mexican, I guess, fan base.
Hold on, HAP, MMA. Can any of my Mexican brothers call in here? Because I feel like it's a bunch of us talking about Mexico and we not Mexicans. So I need D-Style. I need D-Style. I need G-Funky. I need A-Rod. I need Shoe Shine. One of y'all got to step up in here and clarify whatever we're saying that may not be right. Because I don't want to step out of place here. So
I think, it's the, castizo and mestizo kind of, how do you say, not war, but, because one is lighter and the other one. So I think that's really how it is down there. They really, I think in some parts of Mexico it's really separated. The castizo and mestizo. I'm not Mexican. I have some Cuban in me, but I'm not Mexican. But yeah, man.
I got you. I got you. Dave from the 408, the host of the Shoe Shine. Everybody go check the brother out, the Shoe Shine Boxing. They have a show every Monday, 10 Eastern Standard Time. Is that correct?
Raw, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
Oh, yeah, dog, Monday. And if people want to check out our show, Drew Evo, my co-host, Philly Irish, also known as Philly Irish, he has a pie bet. So he's got skin in the game. He is so passionate that Billy Joe Saunders is going to upset Canelo, that he was willing to take a pie to the face this Monday night. And that's a bet he made with D-Styles.
There you go. Talk to me, man. What are we saying that's out of line here? Because let me tell you something. Although I'm not Mexican, I'm married to one. I'm exposed to the culture. The comments that you hear on TV, also on Mexican television, especially the sports shows like the A Los Golpes, which is one of the biggest shows that covers boxing the most in Mexico. I very rarely hear positive, straight comments from them when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. So why is it, in your opinion, that this guy is not getting full support from the Mexican crowd in Mexico?
Yeah, I got to quote like George Lopez, the comedian, on that one, man. It's like he said, Mexicans are natural born haters. But I want to put that into historical context, because you guys all know about the Aztec civilization, right? They had one of the very first sporting games. They had this game with the ball. I don't even want to butcher how to pronounce this game. It was called Uya.
Yeah, it's like basketball.
It's like a basketball.
The team that wins.
Uya Malitzli was the game. And they would actually wager. Like, there was heavy sports. They were wagering on this way back before Spain came, right? And teams, they would drag out small tribes and bring them to play their team. And usually the team would be massacred afterwards in sacrifice, right?
Correct.
The team that won would be sacrificed.
That was considered an honor. Yeah, it doesn't even make sense, right? The team that won would be sacrificed. But oftentimes they would point out that just the simplest thing, the king could demand that they just basically go into the village afterwards if they didn't like the result of the game and just massacre people in that village. That's how violent the Aztec culture was. And they also played this game in a little bit more south of that in the Mayan region, right? It's like embedded in our DNA to be violent people. But the tribalism has been embedded in Mexican culture. And the irony is that they've got this belt for the event, the mestizo belt. Mestizo meaning a blend of Aztec with Spanish culture when the Spain came, and then they created, the term was born, mestizo, right? That's the irony. So yeah, someone in the chat pointed that out, man. There's a lot of regional hate in Mexico. Guys from Michoacan could be like, hate people from Guadalajara and Sinaloa, and they could hate the music from a certain region, or they could be involved in cartels and be like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of that still carries on to today, you know? I don't even understand why my mom hates Canelo. I was just at her house the other day. I'm still trying to scratch my head around it. But for me, Raw, I just want to say, listen, I wasn't always a fan of Canelo, but I've transformed my opinion. I mean, I'm always going to be a fan of the sport, and he has evolved into a very special fighter, and he may very well. I wasn't even sold when this thing came out, when he was like the new era, the era de Canelo, right? Canela's era, right? But I really think now it is. I'm waiting for someone to come along that's going to catch him on a bad day or see his decline. And I think we're all just kind of waiting, like we waited for Floyd. It may be that that day may never come. He may retire in greatness.
I mean, I don't hope, negative on any fighter, but it's inevitable. You're at the top, and if you stay in the game, eventually you're going to start hitting the decline. And here may come a guy that's not even as talented as you were, but because he's hot and you're not, he might beat you, right? And I know the day that happens, people's going to be very, very happy. LT Boxing in the building. ¿Qué hola?
Bueno, mi amigo, muchas gracias por haberme recibido aquí en el panel. Salud to the panel. A-Rod,
Ahora sí, con la raza.
Ranger, Shushan, Haplo. I want to. I'm a. How would I put this, man? Some of you guys really think you buy into like how they say it. Look, how they sell it in the United States to the Latin American people. It's different how they sell the fights over there in Mexico. Like Shoeshine said, which I totally disagree, because he probably bought into how they were selling it, how they sell the fights here in the United States to the Latin American people, where the real Mexican versus not, the Latin American Mexican. That's like he said, even with Angulo, right? That's because he bought right. He's a what, North California. That's totally different. How they're gonna sell the fight in Mexico, so it's not correct like, against Chavez or Canelo contra. It's not. It's just how he was being sold the fight to. In Mexico, they're gonna sell you the fight totally different. In fact, in Mexico, they don't even sell you the fight like that. Hey, va a ser que, como like I'm gonna give you an example right now. Va a ser fuck, man. It's really difficult right now because this is how weird it is, man. The United States have to give you a narrative where he's gonna be like the slickest right now. Let's say with right. So he's gonna fight the slickest. Y en Mexico they don't even tell you that he's gonna fight this dude. Y va a ser 15, va a ser 5, va a ser el fin de semana, ¿me entiendes? Mayo 5 y va a pelear Canelo y vamos a tener esto y vamos a tener esto. It's like that. That's how they're gonna sell you the fight. Now they need another narrative to sell you the fight right here in the United States so you could buy it. But over there they're gonna sell it for free. So this thing where he's hated, he was even hated against Angulo or like that. It's a false narrative that the United States needs to build for it to sell it over here, man. So you can buy the pay-per-view. Right. No, I'm just saying that, ¿me entiendes? And with that, guys, I'm out. Felicidades. Muchas gracias. Yeah, muchas gracias, amigos.
Te lo lavas.
Who somebody fell through. Oh, LT fell through. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said he took enough. Yeah, LT's right. It's the narrative from here, from the US, is always that the king of LA, the king of fucking Mexico, and there's always that narrative. You know what I mean? It always gets started like that to be able to sell the fight, and it works. You know what I mean? It works for us. You want to buy the fight because who really is the king of Mexico, right? That's how they sold the Marquez versus Barrera or Morales versus Barrera, and we always have that. We always have that. We can always have that.
Yeah, and you know what I would ask, A-Rod? I would ask all of those that want to keep bringing retired legends to compare to Canelo. I would ask, in the present, at a boxing level, who is the representative of boxing for Mexico right now? Who is the most talented a Mexican boxer right now? Who is the guy that was born in Mexico, that lives in Mexico, and is currently active? Who is the guy? I don't want to hear about Canelo. I don't want to
more so
Morales. I don't want to hear about Barrera. I don't want to hear about Salvador Sanchez. I don't want to hear about Ricardo Finito Lopez. I don't want to hear about no legends that's gone. I'm talking about right now active, man. I'm telling you right now, the hate is unfair coming towards this kid. And the way it's sold is totally different. I totally agree with that. But guess what? I also believe that the media in Mexico does Canelo no favors. The media in Mexico does Canelo no favor, because if the media from your own country thinks that you are a spoiled little brat, that you are not friendly, that you think yourself are too much, that you why is he buying $100,000 horses when this and that? That why is he ordering himself a $500,000 Mercedes truck? That when they start talking about you in that fashion in your country, the same media that's supposed to be lifting you up, it's gonna penetrate the brains of the people, man.
Yeah, they like a los golpes, they always bring up things like, oh, Canelo really needs the fucking the people's champ fucking title, because That's the only thing that's going to be able to put him at the top of the level as a Chavez, as a Morales, Finito. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't earned the respect. So them themselves are trying to fucking diminish this guy's career by saying things like that instead of building him up.
Correct.
You know, guys, can I bring up something that Manny Pacquiao did that Canelo hasn't done?
I'm going to give a chance to my brother David Erasmo. Go ahead, 408.
Just one of those things that Manny Pacquiao capitalized on was how much he donated and worked with his community that he came from, so much to the point that he ran for political office. When you reference that the People's Champ, right? I mean, he how much money has he donated and put into his own community?
Yeah, Canelo doesn't promote all that because he does it out of love. He even said in that interview. He said, I'm not going to talk about anything that I do outside of boxing because I do that out from the heart. He donated a lot of money for the earthquake. He donates a lot of money for kids with cancer and stuff like that. But he don't promote that to gain fans. You know what I mean? Because he said he does that out of his heart.
Hey, Rob, that's a good point too, because Manny Pacquiao, everything he does was for show, right? So we're trying to get to the bottom of why some people in Mexico dislike him. Maybe some people in Mexico don't even know what he does for his local community. They just seen what he like Raw Boxing's talking about, the high-end luxury purchases. That's all they know.
Like those kids that had that disease, David or whatever. The only reason that kid got exposed him. So I mean, we got people that do things publicly. And I'm not going to say Manny Pacquiao did it just for show. He might have done it out of the heart, but his team probably advised him, look, it's good if we take it public since you're trying to run for public office. So there could be those two reasoning there. But when a fighter tells me, hey, I'm not going to tell you how much I donate or who do I donate to because it comes out of my heart. I'm not trying to get no show or recognition out of it. I put my hands together because I'm a firm believer of don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. David Erasmo, mi hermano de Panama, my brother, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. How are you guys doing out there?
We're here, brother. We're chopping it up. We're being a little controversial.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're good.
This is something I really don't understand. I mean, all jokes aside, I know, like in Panama, there was always, especially when I was growing up, the big rivalry, Colón and Panama.
Oh my gosh!
And when we play baseball, you hear Colón, Panama, Colón, and it's boxing, and it goes like that. However, if you have a champion out of whatever province or city, and he goes outside the country to represent Panama, it's Panama all the way. We stand behind that guy no matter what. And when el retador, se me fue la palabra, that the word just got lost in English. When the contender comes to fight him in Panama, believe me, you don't hear no Colón, Panama anymore. Panama all the way, straight up. So I really don't understand. And to me, the problems start with all this nonsense about Mexican style fighter. That didn't help him a lot with the Triple G nonsense. Oh, let's fight Mexican style. And he started promoting that garbage. And those guys that in Mexico that speak about the boxing, they started jumping on that and started like promoting Triple G like he was the man, like, okay, you fight like us, and Canelo does not fight like us, which is ridiculous. Some of those fighters never go in there and say, give me 6 punches and I'll give you 1.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, just doing that. You know what I mean? Mexican have different style fighters, man. And this guy, I'm saying, all jokes aside, I'm not his fan, but the guy is good. If you are a boxing fan, you have to say, you know what? This guy has done his improvement. He is good. And guess what? He's in the ring there. And no matter who you put in front of him so far, you can't beat him. The one who really gave him a good butt whipping was Floyd.
Correct.
And I think also your boy Lara. But at the end of the day, what counts is what down in the books. He won.
Correct.
So that's all I have to say in this situation. Listen, Mexicans, get behind your guy. That's your guy.
Correct.
English guy,
Yo,
get behind your
Rob,
guy. That's your
I
guy.
got
And let's make this a
I
good
gotta
fight.
jump off in a second.
I
I
got
just want to
you.
make
Go ahead.
one last point before I go. Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
No
Go ahead,
problem.
go ahead.
I gotta jump off, but I'm a little concerned about this whole kidnapping thing with the brother and the cartel because I'm trying to rack my brain as a reason to why the cartel would ever want to kidnap Canelo's brother, unless it's about some kind of bet they want to make on this fight. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to make pre-excuses if Canelo loses or anything. If he loses, he loses.
Well, no, I
You
think the
know,
brother was
but
kidnapped. in the-
It's all money.
it's all money.
It's all money. They just look for the rich guy. They look
Money
for the
is
rich
the
guy,
root-
the most richest guy known, and they kidnap anybody.
Money is the root of all evil.
I got you, but my point is this: how can they make the most money by betting against him and him losing? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little worried about that. Other than that, you know, I'm picking Canelo by stoppage around 7 to 11 in that
Yeah.
range. Other than that, thanks for having me on, and salute to the rest of you guys.
All day, all day, all day. I just want to make
Salute.
something clear. I just want to make something very clear for those of you that are just now coming in and have not heard the live from the beginning. Therefore, you have not grasped at the context. Nobody here has alluded to the to say that all Mexicans hate Canelo. That's not even what we're talking about. We're talking about some Mexicans in Mexico, or a lot of Mexicans in Mexico, including the media, sports media. Now, that's not hearsay. That's not something I heard from some dude. That's something you can tune into their show and watch them hate on this kid all day, every day. So we want to make sure that that gets very clear, because nobody here is saying Mexicans hate Canelo at all. And the GOAT, I usually agree with you. I'm going to disagree with you on this one. Matter of fact, the term Eurobomb is an irrelevant term. Irrelevant. So I think it's only effective when Canelo fights a European fighter. If Charlo fights a European fighter, then he's the lion. He's the King Mufasa. If Canelo fights the same guy, then it's a Eurobomb. But look, guys, Scale Bender, welcome, my man. I'll let you talk here in a minute. Let me just say something real quick. Am I wrong? I'm gonna go straight to A-Rod and Dave, because you guys are in the panel. I think the only two Mexicans in the panel, because Davi's from Panama, I'm from Cuba. I don't know where Scale Bender is. I think he's from here. But am I wrong when I say?
I'm from Libya.
Am I wrong when I say that to say there's such thing as Mexican style is a disgrace to Mexican boxing? Because last I checked, I've seen all the styles come out of Mexico. I've seen slicksters. I've seen technicians. I've seen power punchers. I've seen boxer punchers. I've seen brawlers. I've seen crude fighters. Where did this Mexican style of boxing come from? When Mexico has given us such a plethora, such a tree full of different styles. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Am I wrong for thinking
the Mexican style that I remember, Ranger, from back in the days? It was originally as a fucking, you're gonna fucking get somebody that doesn't quit. It wasn't a fucking that it's somebody that just goes at it with you. You know what I mean? You're gonna knock him down. He's gonna come back at you tougher than ever. That's the Mexican style that I remember originally. You know what I mean? And then they started to get into this whole different thing that they only brawl, that they're flat-footed, and things like that. But I don't get the whole new narrative. But I always remember it as somebody that's just gonna keep on coming no matter what you do to him. And that was the Mexican style. Somebody that never gave up.
Correct. Dave?
Yeah, to me, the classic definition would be a fighter like Berchelt before he was exposed by Oscar Valdez, another Mexican. Berchelt or Navarrete, El Vaquero. That's what you'd think of traditionally, which is completely opposite of what Canelo has evolved into, right? Especially after he fought Mayweather. It's like he is the complete package, defensively, offensively. He doesn't do anything that's not exceptional. He really is a complete fighter. but you're still gonna call him Mexican style to the point where Triple G actually tried to say, well, I'm the Mexican style of the two, right? I think that definition has evolved. And I think it's actually a compliment when you see fighters from like Eastern European, like when you see Ukrainian or Russian fighters training with Mexican American camps here in the U.S. or going all the way to Mexico. Or there was a fighter from Japan that spoke perfect Spanish. I remember this guy I was really impressed with who had moved to Mexico. Somebody helped me with his name. He used to have pink hair. You know, adopting, I want to fight in the Mexican style. The definition's going to evolve because Canelo is the face of boxing. He is the face of boxing. I don't care what anybody says. And he's Mexican. So we now have to adapt our definition to it.
Yeah, correct. But even that, I can understand saying the Mexican style of boxing as a selling point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to literacy, when it comes to as a literal style that is only Mexico, I think I lean more towards what A-Rod says. I think I connect that a lot more towards the aspect of the heart, the non-quit attitude that you're going to have to kill me and that's the only way. But not about no damn style of boxing. Why are we having a fighter that's very technical when we're calling him, oh, well, he doesn't represent us. He's not the Mexican style. Man, shut up. Scalebender, what's up, my brother? How you doing? Scalebender.
He's probably on mute.
You're probably on mute, Scalebender.
Yo, I'm here. I don't know if it's too windy out here, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear the wind as well, but I can hear you.
All right,
What's up, man?
Let me get in a good spot because I don't want to punish you.
Oh, I cannot hear you now, man. You're muted again. G Funky, step out of the pool and come in here real quick.
It must be a hot day in Sacramento. If he's in the pool at 5 o'clock, it must be hot in Sac.
You're cutting off. I cannot hear you at all, Scalebender. You want to chime off and then call back in? And that
No,
way
I'm
maybe
good. I'm just moving. I'm just getting out of the wind, man. I don't want to screw
okay.
your show up. Just give me a minute.
Oh, okay, I got you. But yeah, G Funky, go, jump out, dry your hands. You can leave your torso, just leave your arm like this, put your cell phone. Ain't nobody gonna judge, bro. Just call, man. Just call. You probably got a few chelas on you, like carnita asada.
It was 99 degrees yesterday.
Ooh, I envy you guys. It was 50 something degrees here today. Ugh. I can't wait. I can't wait for the hot days, man. I can't wait for the hot days. So let me ask you two, A-Rod in 408, and actually Davi, I'll ask you as well because Panama's just like Cuba. You guys have blacks, whites.
Oh, yes.
Let me ask you something. I'm going to speak based on what I've seen on the Mexican people around here, especially I've related myself a lot with them because I'm married to a Mexican and they got friends. And then I've worked with my father-in-law and he's got workers and yada, yada, yada. But I've also seen it in my own people is we don't like the ones that are light-skinned, are we? Don't we? Sometimes we tend to judge them a little more or think that we just don't judge them the correct way. Sometimes some people. Is that the same? Have you guys seen that case? Or because here, I'll give you an example. Here, you might hear a light-skinned Mexican talk about el pinche indio este, or vice versa, el pinche güerito este. And it's like, wait a minute, y'all two's Mexicans. What? So what if you're Indio and you're güero? So what? Y'all two is Mexicans. And then in Cuba, you hear the same thing sometimes, especially depending on the region where you live. Oh, el negro este, el trigueño este, el blanco, pete a leche este. And then you're like, it's things that is hard for me to understand because Cuba is Cuba, Mexico is Mexico. Is it like that? I mean, am I wrong for thinking that maybe Canelo's skin complexion has a bit to do with the hate he's getting in part from some people in some media outlets in Mexico? Am I wrong?
I agree with you, and I'm going to tell you where I think it came from.
Okay, now this is from Panama. This
yes,
Erasmus is Panamanian.
Yes, I'm Panamanian. The problem that I see here in the United States, where we have racism all over the world, but this is the problem that I see in the United States. No my two kids here, mama Puerto Rican, padre Panameño. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So now I'm going to sign birth certificate. I see in Mexican, Chicano, black, white. What nonsense is this? I've never seen this in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna
Correct.
go get a job. You see all these different things. Back home, you were born Panamanian. You were born Panamanian. Simple. You get a job. Oh, it's a Panamanian. Oh, you get a job. Simple. Over here, they divided so much. Now, the thing with Canelo is, he came out of Mexico. Nobody knew Canelo. He came under Floyd Mayweather. A lot of cars and start building up. And here they come with the Auburn here and the cinnamon here and this and that. And it look like Irish. And remember, over here is good with blowing up this race business. And the Mexicans started taking it in. And like what you said in the beginning, debe ser gringos, ellos saben todo. You know, debe ser verdad.
I've heard
You know
it.
what I mean?
I've heard it.
And
Yeah.
guess what? That did not help him. Now, oh, he don't look like the regular, typical Mexican that I, you know, that I work with, and this and that. And then you have the other people in the YouTubes and different things that keep promoting this nonsense. And boy, this has blown up to where it is. To me, that's where this go, man. It's as simple as that. They just, if you did not hear this nonsense, I think the Mexican would accept him just as it is.
That last part you just said, is so true. Scalebender. Let's see who fell through. Oh, Davi fell through.
No,
Yeah.
Scalebender fell through.
Let's see. We got Dave, we got A-Rod, we got Scalebender, and Davi.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All of us.
Mhm.
That last part you just said is so true because I was listening to a video from one of the hating channels probably about a month ago, and he had an open platform. I mean, an open phone line, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe every time and he was talking about the usual, of course. Canelo fights the Euro bombers. Canelo this and that, and this and that, and a couple of people called and said, "Well, that fool doesn't represent us. Besides, he's white," and that kind of struck me. I was like, wait. I mean, regardless of the skin, we cannot complain about racism, and then go and say this Mexican doesn't represent me because he's too light skinned, or this Cuban doesn't represent me because he's too light skinned, or this Panamanian doesn't represent me because he's too light skinned. I mean,
Exactly.
what I heard. So what you said, that last part, I've heard it, and it does happen. So Scalebender, now you got the chance.
Sorry about that. I didn't want to be out there in the wind, but yeah, with Canelo, you know what? A lot of what I'm hearing is I'm surprised, man. Well, I'll just say it like this, man. As far as the Mexican style thing goes, man, some of the greatest fighters in history out of Mexico, man. There's no two ways about it. And like you said before, it doesn't always have to be just guarded up, plodding forward, man. Marquez, like you said before, I think you described it as decent skill. I think
Yeah.
I love his style, man. And if you're a boxing fan, you like the mix of styles. That's part of it too. Two guys
Correct.
on the same level with different styles. You want to see what happens.
Mhm.
But with Canelo and all these, you know, what these guys do for charitable, what these guys do for interviews, how they conduct themselves, whether they're obnoxious, whether they're, you know, honestly, man, it's got to start with what's going on in the ring. And if you had to boil down Mexican style, I would just say it's the willingness to go for it. It's balls, if you want to call it balls, in the ring and in your career. Like, the fuck you care if you take a loss? You know what I mean? Like, just, man, it's not going to matter at the end.
Correct.
Oops, sorry. In my
Correct.
opinion, that's just from what I
Yeah,
see.
but even exactly, and I agree. But even a technician out of Mexico can have the willingness to come forward and not give up.
Marquez will
And-
come right back at you.
Correct.
When Pacquiao caught Marquez, he'll come right back on your ass, bro.
But I'm talking about, for example, people look at Canelo. He's not standing there to get hit. He's bobbing. He's weaving. He's slipping. He's sliding. Right? They don't like that. They want to see him blotted out, exchange in the middle of the ring. Let's see who can take the harder shots. Let's see the blood dripping. And then like Flightenson said, you know, Canelo is no Terrible Morales. Well, duh, he's not. First of all, because they don't fight the same way. Second of all, because Terrible Morales was not a slickster. He couldn't slip and slide. He could bob and weave, but he couldn't slip and slide as good as Canelo is. Morales was a very good technician, and I tell people all the time, man, y'all look at Morales talking about he's a brawler. No, he's not. He just chooses to brawl, right? My whole thing is I think that the sports media out of Mexico is not doing Canelo a favor. They're just not. Dave, am I wrong for thinking that after Dave, I'll take A-Rod. Am I wrong for thinking that maybe his skin complexion has something to do with the partial hate?
You're not wrong at all about that, man. I mean, and the irony is that you still got countries like the Philippines and even in Mexico, entertainment, where they won't put you on TV unless you're light-skinned or unless you're mixed. Like in the Philippines, they won't put you on TV unless you're mixed with half white. So the idea of beauty leans towards being light-skinned, you know, whether you're watching a telenovela. But when it comes to fighters, it's almost like the farm workers, people that work at the truck drivers, people that work blue collar, they want to see guys that look like them to some extent. So yes, we still haven't gotten past that element of racism. And just on a personal story, you're making me laugh, bro, because I grew up very poor. My mother and I grew up on welfare in my aunt's house. And as a young child, I learned to speak Spanish. You know, that was my primary language first. And my mother would say, go ask your tia güera. And as a little boy, because my aunt was green-eyed. She was from Durango. She had green eyes and she had clear, light skin and whatnot. I literally thought that was my aunt's name until I was like 9 years old. I had no idea her name was Beatriz and that I thought güera was her name. I didn't even know it was a pejorative, that my mother was basically digging into her skin color because my mother doesn't have that light skin. Yeah, my go ask her tia güera. So there has to still be an element of that, you know, of the skin tone issue, the dislike because you can't relate to him because he doesn't look like you. I think it's time to move beyond that, though, for sure.
Okay. A-Rod, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I lived out there in Mexico a couple years as a younger child. I seen a lot of prejudice and not towards necessarily like the skin color, but towards like a money wealth type of thing. Out here in the valley, you know what I mean? Whenever you try to go get a job or whatever, if you're born here, they say, "Oh, no lo vas a hacer, you ain't gonna cut it." You know what I mean? If you're gordito, you ain't gonna cut it out here. You're not gonna be able to work, and they start judging you. You know what I mean? There's a lot of prejudice and a lot of hate towards something, and the Canelo hate. I think the Canelo hate has to do a lot with what we were talking about earlier, is that they don't know the contributions that he does. Because a lot of us Mexicans, and even in any race, is you move out of the hood and you don't help out the hood, then you're nobody no more. You know what I mean? You start getting hated on, and that's what a lot of Canelo's getting. You know what I mean? They don't know what he does for the people. Like out here, Jose Ramirez gets a lot of props for helping out the farm workers and all that stuff. It's out there, you know what I mean? So he gets a lot of love, but Canelo doesn't put it out there. You get what I'm saying? So that's why that has to play a lot. I don't know if you guys seen videos of Snoop Dogg responding to the hood back where he's from. They're saying, nah, he ain't no crib. He hasn't helped out the hood. He hasn't done this for the hood. So, you know what I mean? As soon as you move out of the hood and they don't think that you do enough for the hood, well, then you ain't part of the hood no more. You know what I mean? That's how a lot of the things happen to where the kind of the hate happens. But I don't know too much about the skin color getting you more favored. Mm-hmm. The only time I hear it is around here. You know what I mean? Here in America, I probably wasn't old enough to notice it out there in Mexico. But my uncles tell me that there's a lot of prejudice, a lot of racism out there still. Correct. And in my own family, I got dark skin. I got light skin. My aunt's white. My uncle and my mom were dark skin, and there were like we're all different colors just in our own family ourselves.
Correct. So, so this is a good point as well that Puerto Rican rum makes, and that's why I asked the question because, but at the same time, it's a bit of both. You do see it in a case by case situation. As far as the hating goes, I don't understand this comment here unless you care to elaborate or expand on it. When he ever were the Mexican colors, he never had. I don't get it. If you can elaborate on that. Also, he says, also, y'all pretending he's something that he is not, meaning he's not humble. If he's not humble, I truly don't care. I don't care if he's humble or not. I'm not a moral judge. I want to talk to you about Canelo Alvarez, the boxer. That's all I want. Say he's not humble. How does that
he's been caught on camera saying he's.
Go ahead.
Floyd
Go ahead, Aaron.
He's been caught on camera saying, "Oh, leave me alone. I'm with my family. I don't want to get bothered." Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? As a celebrity, I wish I could have a light switch to turn off the people that want to constantly invade my private space. Every time I go to a restaurant, I cannot have a normal quiet time with a wife or a girlfriend or a daughter. There's always somebody up in your grill. Give me an autograph. Give me a picture. I can't blame somebody for saying, the hell out of the way. I want to be with my family. Look, perfect example. Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi. People look at Messi as the cute boy, the humble one. Messi himself has told fans, pinche pelotudo, déjame quieto. Because people get tired, man. This celebrities get tired of strangers being all over the grills. And if it's not humble, I don't care to defend him, whether he is or not. I look at the boxing skills, whether the guy is humble or not. Look, Billy Joe Saunders is not humble, but people's loving him. And the fact that he's humble does not take away from the fact that he could box. Whether you want to downplay or downgrade his skills or not, I don't give a damn. Morality has nothing to do with the skills that you prepare yourself in the ring. It's two different separate worlds.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of a casual criteria, right? It's kind of casual to think like that. I mean, if you're going to support a boxer or not based on his skin complexion or his
Scalebender, you got that Taco Bell in it.
Nah, I'm good, man. Really? Am I breaking up?
You're coming across. You're coming across all caught up.
Let me reconnect then, goddammit. I'll be back.
Yeah. Look, Terrible Terry, I get it. You don't like Canelo, and you're in your right to do so. Yes, Virgil Ortiz is humble. I don't care if humble. If look, Mayweather's my favorite boxer, and he ain't humble.
Nope.
But he's my favorite boxer because he's got the skills to pay the bills. And that's what I'm trying to get fans to understand. When you look at these fighters that are not your personal friends, that are not part of your family, their morals is an irrelevancy to you. You as a boxing fan, judge him based on his boxing skills, not on his morals. I don't care about his morals.
You know what other fighter got criticized lately because the way he talks is El Rey Martinez, because he's talking straight, you know what I mean? Like the people from Mexico City, from El Defectoso, how they talk all like hood, like, you know what I mean? So he was getting a lot of heat in the fucking chat and everything for, man, he needs to talk proper, he needs to do, man, people are never happy, you know what I mean?
Correct.
You know,
I mean, look, I think there's a double standard when it comes to this situation. Look, Mayweather himself has stated that most of the hate comes from his own people. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. Why? Why do you have somebody that you can uplift, but you choose to hate on him? Because he doesn't talk the way you want him to talk? Because he doesn't dress the way you want him to dress? Because he's driving a car you can't never afford, not even the wheels on the car you can afford. You can't even afford the wheels on the car. You can't even afford the door handle in his house. Why are we hating? Why are we implementing our moral judgment on people we don't even know at a personal level? We don't even, look. Muhammad Ali was loved. Was he humble? Nope. He was proud to tell you I'm cocky because I know I'm good. And he had a great heart. Was he humble? Nope. I'm simply trying to get to the bottom of Virgil Ortiz. Is very humble, and people say he's not ready because of it. And again, mixing morality with an irrelevancy, something that has nothing to do with skills. And I get what you're saying, Black and Brown. People, unfortunately, people's is like that. Davi, Scalebender, you came back in. I know you were saying, yeah, go ahead now, brother.
Any better?
Yeah, way better. Now you don't jump from Taco Bell to Texas Roadhouse, my man.
Nah, I'm honored. No, I was just saying, Raw, man. I'm a little bit shocked, man, that you're even giving this any kind of credibility, man. Because the last time you and I spoke, it was a long time ago. But we were just talking about how, like, I don't know. It was late at night. I don't know what the hell was on Black and Brown or something a long time ago. But
Punch,
yeah. So, man, the human being has a tendency to get tribal on each other. You know what I mean? They tend to group up on each other, race, country of origin, national origin, fucking north, south, east, west, Republican, Democrat. They tend to group up on each other. All right, that's fine. But when it comes to Canelo Alvarez and judging him based upon, like, you know, I'm going to support him or not based upon light skinned or dark skinned or lighter skinned than Chavez. Whoever made that comment, I was going to say the same thing about Julio Cesar Chavez, which was, I mean, he's not the darkest guy in the world, but I don't even fucking think like, I mean, how are you going to use that as a criteria at all? It's at minimum, it's like completely naive, and at maximum, it's just casual as a motherfucker. You know what I mean? I don't care where he's from or what they're marketing to the Mexicans or the Americans, how they're marketing it to us or to them. If you got a problem with Canelo Alvarez, it's got to be about boxing, how he's handling his career. You know what I mean? I can't get into his fucking Twitter account and his Bugatti. I don't give a shit one way or the other. Door handles. Just my opinion, man.
Yeah, and it's not that I was giving relevancy to the argument. What I was trying to do was, one, it's something that, you know, it's something that boxers have been dealing with for a long time. Oscar de la Hoya dealt with it a whole lot. Panchito Bojado was starting to deal with it until he got in trouble and became a nobody. Canelo is dealing with it. It's not that it's giving it relevancy. I'm trying to get to the bottom of why. Because it seems that by doing that, we go back to the mixing of morals versus talent, skills when it comes to boxing. Those are two arguments that should be separate as a whole. And when you hear fans talk about he doesn't represent me because he's white, no, he's Mexican. He's Mexican.
Yeah, but I'm white and he doesn't represent me at all. No matter what color he is, I'm just not a fan of the way he's conducting his career. I'm a little bit like frustrated with Canelo. That's all. I'm not a fan, if you want to say it like that.
Correct. But notice how even that it has no correlation with the morality of skin colors or the way he is at a personal level. You're basically judging his actions as an athlete. That's what you're judging, which is totally fair. I always say,
go ahead.
If you don't like a boxer because of the way he conducts himself as a boxer, because of the way he fights as a boxer, great. You're nothing but a fan. That's the areas that you should be judging. That area. Don't, when people talk to me about, well, he didn't give this little kid an autograph. So, well, he told this guy, get that camera out of my face. I would too. I probably would have taken that camera and smashed it. Because I, a human being, trying to have some privacy with my family. Period.
Yeah, you don't know the situation.
Well, why does Canelo have to buy a $500 $500,000 truck because he's a millionaire and he can afford it and you can't? And he fought for that money. Therefore, since it's his money, he's got a right to do whatever the hell he wants. If he wants to go to a mall and pay $6 million for a pack of gum, it's his money. He got it. He earned it. And then all this nastiness, all this irrelevancy starts getting mixed with sports. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, so we're gonna start closing this live, man. I got a few homies that's gonna go live pretty soon.
Bro, I appreciate you having me on. I'm gonna hop out for dinner, but thank you for bringing up that Floyd Mayweather point, because when he transformed into Money Mayweather, he had so much hate on him, and he still became the pay-per-view king. And we're gonna see Saturday. We're gonna see over 60,000 people in a stadium that hasn't been seen since pre-pandemic. We haven't seen that kind of a sports crowd in America. At the end of the day, the boxing fan is going to be the winner. So whether you hate him or you love him, I think that conversation will continue because it's complicated, man. Sports psychology. Yeah. Why do Giants fans fight with Dodgers fans every time they see each other? We'll never get to the bottom of it. At the end of the day, it's just a baseball hat, right?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Rod. Thanks a lot for exposing this, man. Everyone have a great weekend and enjoy this fight because it's gonna be fantastic while it lasts.
Hell yeah. Hey, Rod, any last words?
Thank you for having me on. Can you hear me right?
Yeah, I can kind of hear you. You got the phone under the pillow.
Nah, I took off my Bluetooth. It died out already. But thank you for having me on. Thank you for the panel, Dave. And it was a good conversation, man. It was a good thing to point out and for us to clear up whether if it was a true thing or not. But haters are going to hate. People are going to fucking call people presumidos right away just because they fucking buy stuff. Because they can afford it. You got to go fuck. But just let the haters hate and just keep on doing your thing.
Correct.
Thank you for having me.
All day, man. You know, people get nervous when we're touching subjects. Ranger, what are you talking about? You know, but it's got to be talked about because I'm tired of it affecting every aspect of the YTBC. I would love to not even see that on my channel, but when it comes to my channel, I have the right to touch upon it. So, A-Rod, thank you for being here. Davi, any last words, brother?
Yes, man. Just appreciate you. Appreciate your knowledge. Appreciate you having me here. You know, and as long as I don't have to work or anything like that, man, I try to listen to you guys and, you know, voice my opinion and stuff like that. But just to like emphasize, you know, with the Money Mayweather business, you know, he's one of those guys too that he does his little business under the table. You know, gives little money here and there. People don't know that.
Correct.
A lot of people hate this guy. Oh, he is this, his money and this and that. It's just a show. Understand that also. It's just a show. And one thing I want to say to those that are still listening, these guys kill Canelo so much in Mexico. A guy like, I'm going to give you a name, Bernardo Pilati.
Oh my God,
This dude, man. Woo! So you see, this cat, I don't know, man. Everything is just turned against him with, you know, with the media over there. But, you know, personally, like I said, he's not my favorite fighter, but the dude brings it in the ring. And as if you can't beat him, hey,
hate on him.
There's nothing I can say about it. I'm judging him by his boxing. I don't care what else he want to do. As long as he's not messing around with little kids or anything like that, he's in the ring there knocking people out. He's going to keep shutting my mouth out. That's all he's going to do. Shut my mouth. You know, that's it. Other than that, man, everybody has a great evening. Enjoy yourself. And like you guys say, I'm on to the next channel when you guys are coming on again. All right.
Take care, brother. Thank you for being here. Scale Bender, any last word?
Ranger, I appreciate you having me, man. I hope we can continue the conversation because I don't know if I came off wrong, but it does need to be hashed out. And I think at the end of the day, what you find is like, he is the face of boxing. He is pound for pound with consensus, whatever you want to call it. He's established that. It's just, look, it comes with, if he's representing boxing, he's already taken a loss, right? No big deal. It's not the end of the world, but he's taken it. So I just want to, and his career's not over yet either. So we can't compare him to Marquez. We can't compare him to any of these guys that have had their run until he's had his run. You got to judge it at the end, right? Because
Correct.
it could go up or down from here. I mean, he could change his approach to it. So as long as it's about boxing, man, if it's about anything else, then it's not about you're not a boxing fan, then you're just a race fan or this country fan. You're just like a fan of something else. That's fair enough too, but
Correct.
we'll catch up with it on the next one, I guess.
All right, my brother. Well, thank you for being here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of those of you that spend the time with me. Those of you that was able to take the heat, dispatch the heat, deal with the heat. Enjoy the fights this weekend as a boxing fan. That's your job. I don't care if Billy Joe Saunders drives a Mustang or a Lamborghini. I don't care if Canelo Alvarez drives a Mercedes-Benz or a freaking Kia Soul. Boxing is your business. Enjoy the fights this weekend. It doesn't matter in which fashion. If Canelo wins, enjoy it. If Canelo loses, you might be sad, but enjoy it. Boxing is winning. Boxing is the main focus. Raw Boxing TV. Subscribe. Activate the notification bell. Hit the thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at RawBoxingTV. Follow me on Instagram at RawBoxingTV. Follow me on Twitch and subscribe at RawBoxingTV. And if you want to support the channel, Cash App, $, RawBoxingTV. Till next time,